kid and play. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. All right. Actually, that's not really the theme of what I want to talk about, but I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to say, understanding the shift in the entertainment genre is a way that we don't hurt nobody. How about that? I'll weave it together, use it as a segue. But what I wanted to talk about really was the impact. I think a lot of things started with Luke Cage crashing Netflix. I think that was in 2016. But that was one. Then when we got Get Out, let me talk about the importance of them, right? So Luke Cage kind of was my first one. There were things that happened in comic books and the things that were happening in novels that were powerful. David Anthony Durham winning for Acacia, the World Fantasy Awards, the Black Panther comic book by Coates going to #1. That was big, right? But I think what Luke Cage did in its structure was having KRS-One, having Rakim, Faith Evans, being really authentic hip-hop, being authentic New York, and still and in a remastered, right, a remixed black character. This guy, Luke Cage, wears a chain and a high collar yellow shirt, right, and a tiara and bracelets. Holy moly, and calls himself Power Man, right? It's called Power Man. But yet in the TV show, they flipped all of that. They broke the tiaras, even used them in the storyline, really good. And then took the tiara off, so he gets rid of the bracelets. He takes off the tiara, and now he's melanated, right? This isn't a light-skinned Luke Cage like in the comic books. This is a melanated Luke Cage. You don't even call him Power Man, not to his face, right? This is Luke Cage, right? What else? And then he's not wearing a yellow shirt, right? He got rid. I don't even know what they did with the chains, the chain belt, So he was totally remixed black and still was able to get that audience, still was able to break those records. So that was one. Then you had Get Out. I think Get Out came next, right? Then you had Get Out, and Get Out was like, even though for me it was sort of a comedic element to it, it was still good, because even if it was a joke on why black people are scared of white neighborhoods and it's a myth, the reality is there is child trafficking and there's people disappearing off the streets, and that ain't a myth, right? So whether the movie was making a joke about it or not, the issue is real, and the movie took it real, right? So that's what scared people. People don't know that it might have been a joke. They didn't really take it the way I took it, or the way it might have even been meant, right? And it scared everybody. So white people, Asians, we'll say Latinos or Hispanics, right? Indian, everybody who is non-black, including black, bought into the fears that black people may have of white neighborhoods and broke records. Jordan Peele's on the map now. Then we had Black Panther, right? Black Panther, all black cast. Sort of remix, but the Black Panther, credit to Christopher Priest, he remixed Black Panther back in the late 90s in the comic books. So he wasn't jungle action Black Panther. and it was a full Wakanda, right? So that's what he did. Then the Hudlin brothers took it over. Even my man Jonathan Mayberry took a shot at it, and then they hired Coates, Tahashi Coates, and he did something. I think his was the one that had the least influence in the movie, right? But he broke records because his comic book sold so many records, and him being a political commentator added some needed depth to it. You know, I don't know if he made it authentically black, because I don't think he wrote it like that, but it did add a political element to it that made people, oh, this is going to be a little something more than just, you know, Captain America going after, you know, Hydra, you know. So let's see. And I don't know if he delivered that in his comic book. I didn't really feel it. You know, I have a whole nother evaluation of the comic book, you know. But in the movie, the Killmonger character, woo, Ryan Coogler, he dropped the bomb right there. There was no Killmonger really in the comic books until after, or of the Black Panther remixed version, until after the movie came out. And that shifted everything. Black Panther broke records. They don't even think they're telling us how successful that movie really is, right? And has been. And it's authentically black. They got one white villain in there, and another white, not hero, shot down something. He might have saved the world from a city getting attacked, but he didn't really save the world. The Black Panther saved the world in Black Panther, and now we're getting a sequel, and you never know what else may come, because the sequel, hopefully we'll get a trilogy, because the sequel is rumored to have Dr. Doom, Submariner, so a whole lot of people. May even get to see Killmonger come back, all right? Anyway, those three entities in film was Luke Cage, Get Out, and then Black Panther, right? So now the argument is you don't necessarily have to, not say cater to white people, but tone down your blackness to really sell. And then now in 2019, HBO done released, not created by black people, right? All of those three, Luke Cage was remixed. Dang, I can't remember dude's name, and I probably will meet dude. The dude that produced Luke Cage. I can't remember his name, but he's important, so I gotta include him in a blog, a post. Then you had Jordan Peele. Then you had Michael Coogler, right? So this Watchmen that just happened in 2019 is another defining moment in black science fiction, in black entertainment, in filmmaking, in black history, right? We got this Tulsa, Oklahoma story that has really been brewing at the same pace as this, probably the second wave of reparations, right? Tulsa had, just like we see in the story, had a terrible history of being destroyed and attacked. And the black people who survived have been fighting for that legacy to be dealt with for years. And before this TV show, you could hear a lot about it. The thing is, people didn't always care because we still had a lot of things going on. And this was during the Barack Obama years. You know, we still have education, we still have healthcare, jobs. Sheesh, who knows if it'll ever be right for black people, but we had big fish to fry. So people wasn't looking at not only Tulsa, but Monson, New Jersey, Rosewood, other cities that had been attacked and destroyed by white rage, white people in America. And this TV show showing it has sparked so much interest they may do memorials like the TV show suggested in Tulsa because of the TV show. Not only did it show a black fear, like Get Out showed a hypothetical black conspiracy theory. There's no conspiracy theory in what you call it in Watchmen, okay? In Tulsa's story, as it's depicted in the Watchmen, is no there's no what you call it. There's no conspiracy theory. That shit happened, all right? And people, there's survivors and there's victims, so that is no joke. And so that's a game changer. I mean, we have a whole bunch of slavery movies, not a whole bunch. We don't have half, 1/10 is there about slavery as there is about the Holocaust. So we don't have a lot of slavery movies. But with all of those black problem, black understand my pain movies, from Fruitvale Station, to 12 Years a Slave, Women of Brewster Place, Color Purple, nothing has been as authentic as The Watchmen, yo. Black sci-fi taking right back into a real life situation. Slavery is so long ago that the people who were a part of it weren't there. But Tulsa, the victims are still alive. The victimizers may very well still be alive. If a victim is alive, there's a victimizer that's alive, or the children of the victimizers. Come on, them people's right there. So for something like that was a story about black people getting killed by white people, for it to be as watched as it has been, the limits are off on what you can tell in your stories. And that's kind of why I say, Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody is a really cool theme, because we don't have to worry about hurting nobody no more. I know to me, it feels as a writer, because I was writing before Luke Cage. I wanted black people in stories long before Luke Cage came out. Sheesh, most of my books, Harlem Shake, Boss Lady's Planet, Rashida the Zombie Killer, they were all conceived and written before Luke Cage came out. Not to mention Get Out and the rest of them. Get Out and Black Panther, and now with this Watchmen, sheesh, I went and wrote two comic books, 2 short stories, killing Ku Klux Klan and white racists in my story, because prior to that, I kind of left that alone. I was doing it on the Hydra level. I was doing, white supremacist groups. I wasn't even dealing with white people. To tell you the truth, you look into my books, and there are black villains and black heroes. And that's it. You ain't seeing no white Klan. You're not seeing no white anything. I didn't even care. I didn't put them in my stories. And when I was looking around in other black sci-fi, we didn't really have them in there anyway. Some people might have had a flash of this or that, but we kind of left them alone. They might have a scene. I remember Milton Davis's in Amber, City of Amber. There was some white racists, but that was in France, not even America. Not to mention hoods, So, the game has changed. Now they're free for. It's a free for all. We can do it now. So, it's a liberating thing, because I think we didn't want to do it for fear that our stories might not connect. We didn't do it maybe because we didn't think white people wanted to read or watch them. They're not themselves, but the racist elements in them get beat. I know Nat Turner, to me, I didn't like the movie as much as I could have, because They didn't kill enough white slave owners, right? I'm like, yo, you got to kill all of them. Now, this movie Harriet came out. I can accept that she said she didn't kill any white people, but damn it, I know she did, and I know a lot of them had to get killed. So maybe she didn't do it, but she might have had a hitman with her. So that's just something I'm thinking. But anyway, I just want to throw that out. I could have probably started with this, but I didn't think of it at the time. I think the world before Luke Cage, Black Panther, Get Out, and Watchmen felt like comedy, an urban comedy, before Def Comedy Jam. I'm using that as an example, but I'm going to give you an explanation. Before Def Comedy Jam, Sinbad and Mark Curry were the go-to people. And everybody was doing the Eddie Murphy and Bill Cosby, thinking you had to come up with 15 minutes of clean material to make it on TV, Showtime at Apollo, or another, Star Search or whatever. And Def Jam said, forget all of that. We're going to put your hood, urban, black comedy jokes and put it out there. And America loved it. And it did better than anything that had happened on Showtime at the Apollo and Star Search. The comedians off of Def Comedy Jam, Steve Harvey blew up more, D.L. Hughley, I don't even know, he was on BET, but he blew up because of all of the kings of comedy. You had Jamie Foxx, you had Chris Tucker, Martin Lawrence was there, but Def Comedy Jam put his stand-up on the map. So for me, Black Panther, Get Out, Luke Cage, and of course this Watchmen have liberated the black pen. We do not have to be afraid to show our rage and our frustration at white supremacy the way we felt that we had to before. And it really wasn't a feeling. There's no way anybody's going to say, I think you need to tone that down now after the Watchmen, or it's too black. No, not after the Watchmen, please. Maybe too black for Iowa, maybe, too black for parts of Pennsylvania and other places that have some big Ku Klux Klan, but it'll be a global hit. How about that? So global sales will be up because the global audience understands the oppression that black people are experiencing, and they have they understand the frustration with the Klan. That's it. That's a human immaturity to be killing people like that. So anyway, I'm out. This has been too long. I'm out. Peace.